Hour number 3 of Start Your Day, and that means it's the final hour of You Have Not Heard. We are now on between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. Eastern Time on BNC. 3 hours, but we're still giving you the same information and entertainment that you have come to know and enjoy over the last year or so. But it is Monday, January 24th. Welcome to Start Your Day for this hour. I'm Mike Hill. Good morning, Shannon.
Good morning, and for Sharon Reed, who has the day off, and I'm glad to be here. Even though it's Monday, Mike, I'm here for it. Here for it all.
There's nothing wrong with it. You know what? Hey, the thing is, we're happy to be here, and that's really important. We're going to talk about a very serious topic coming up very shortly with a very special guest because of what happened over the weekend. Dear somebody we love, our queen, Regina King, lost her son to a suicide over the weekend, and our thoughts and our prayers, first and foremost, are with her as she goes through this very difficult journey, she and her family. So we're thinking about her as well as the rest of the nation is too.
Yeah, it's so sad to see that. You know, I don't think people realize how many people it affects. I think everyone knows someone who may have been affected by it. You know, it's a lot to do with mental health, depression, and things that people go through. But so many celebrities and stars, we see it happening in their lives, and no one's immune to it, you know. And I don't think that it targets any one community, ethnicity, status, or whatever. It just impacts so many people, and we have to do things to stop it and look out for the signs of it. So I'm happy we have this guest on here today so people can help prevent it from happening to the people they love.
Absolutely. Let's talk about that right now. We'll get into the death of award-winning actress and director Regina King's only child. Ian is sending shockwaves and heartache once again through Hollywood and the black community and the community as a whole. A representative confirmed Ian Alexander Jr., a musician, DJ, also a caterer, died just days after his 26th birthday. And once again, our thoughts and prayers are with Regina and her family as she goes through this difficult journey. Celebrity tributes pouring in on social media, offering condolences to the talented director and the tragic death of her son, among them Halle Berry, Missy Elliott, and D.L. Hughley. The CDC reports suicide is the second leading cause of death in the United States among those 10 to 34. So we've invited Dr. Joanne Frederick, a mental health expert and executive director of a nonprofit organization that provides counseling and mentorship to undeserved communities, to talk about suicide and, of course, suicide prevention and mental health. Good morning. Thank you for joining us in this unfortunate circumstance, first and foremost. But look, we understand suicide in most cases shocking, often catching families off guard. In a lot of cases, the victim may have been suffering in silence. So let's talk about some of these signs that people may not pick up on right away. Give us some of those red flags that someone may be suicidal.
Yeah, definitely. First, I want to say, Mike, thanks for having me here. And secondly, I do want to send condolences to Ms. Regina King and her family and anyone who's been touched by suicide. So when I say touched, it affects everyone. It affects the community, neighbors, family. And so some of those signs. So one, look at certain age categories. Depending on the age category, you'll see different things. So one, you may see someone, their behavior, attitude changed, they're withdrawing, they're even talking conversations about harming themselves or someone else. So when we talk about suicide, I'd like to define things. It is when someone kills themselves. Sometimes it's planned, unplanned, and sometimes it's assisted or unassisted. Many times families look back and say, oh, what should I have done? What could we have done? Another thing that's important is to talk about it in the household. Use that word, suicide, or suicidal ideation, meaning, are you ever thinking about harming yourself or killing yourself? Are you thinking of harming someone else? So these are all signs and conversations that we have to have in our household, particularly the Black households.
Yeah, and look, there are a lot of factors that are out there, and one of the biggest factors, especially among younger people, is social media. That can have a tremendous impact. They're looking and seeing what's going on in other people's lives. That could be depressing because, sometimes social media isn't what it seems to be. There could be online bullying. There's a lot of things that goes on. As a matter of fact, and we're not speculating here, but Ian's last tweet read, I don't think Instagram is healthy for me. but how do you approach? We talk about talking to somebody because I've been very transparent about that. I've gone through mental health issues, and I was suicidal at one time when I was depressed years ago, and I'm free to talk about that. But when somebody would talk to me about it, of course, I would put on this facade, this shield, because nobody wants to admit it a lot of times. So what's the best way to actually approach someone when you suspect that they may be suffering, maybe in silence, or maybe you see some of the signs that you talked about?
Yeah, well, first, I would say that we need to put it in our minds that everybody has a potential to be suicidal or have these suicidal thoughts. So when we walk around that way, just keeping it in mind in the forefront, we're able to engage in conversation. So one is, if you've ever dealt with suicidal thoughts or attempts, talk about it. So Mike, the way you shared, being open and transparent helps begin the conversation. The other thing too is that when you are having those thoughts and feelings, anyone, talk about it. Tell someone. So, but if we're trying to approach someone, again, give examples of people you've known that dealt with this. So, for example, it's unfortunate over the last 2 years, there's two young Black males that I know that committed suicide. And this is family. This isn't even me as a mental health therapist. But even most importantly, I also have young Black males in my family. I have sons, godsons, nephews. And so we actually have to sit and talk about this. We have to normalize the conversation because it's happening too often. It's becoming too normal to hear someone committed suicide. We
Yeah.
don't want to get,
Yeah.
you know, mhm.
No, no, no. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
Yeah, we don't want to get comfortable seeing people commit suicide, particularly young Black men. That's not something that we need to be comfortable with because we're seeing it
No,
so
not at all. We
often
we definitely
statistically.
we yeah, we can't see it. And even though the rates are still lower than it is for white people in the African American community, we are seeing the rates increase, especially among Black men. So it's having an issue there. But you have a book called Copology, and it addresses being a Black man in the world today, among other issues. Mental health
Yeah.
significantly impacts the Black community, especially Black men. We are now in an era, and I'm liking this, that we're speaking more freely about mental health and therapy, and Black people are starting to embrace that. Do you see that actually helping a little bit more and bringing those suicidal rates down?
So we just need to do more of it. So, for example, thanks for bringing up the book. The book is called Copology. And as a mental health professional, I work with people in a private, confidential space. I can't talk about my clients and just certain things I just can't do for the ethics of the profession. But a person having a therapist can talk about their therapist and their experience. So I decided to write a book, and I also have a YouTube channel that is putting information out there for free because everyone can't afford therapy, whether it's financially, time, or even emotionally ready to engage in therapy. So in Copology, some of the things I talk about is men need self-care too. We talk about
Mm-hmm.
managing depression. We talk about using spirituality to cope. Because as Black people, regardless of religion, we're really spiritual people. So these are all ways to cope with the symptoms of suicide and suicidal thoughts.
And like you said, on the final word here, it- it's hard to deal with anybody's suicide. I had a cousin who just last year killed herself, and her mom, you know, didn't see a lot of the signs, and obviously you're left with a void because you're wondering, like you said in the beginning, what more could you have done? One of my best friends when I was 13, I remember he killed himself as well, and I'm left wondering what could I have done differently. So how do you suggest the people who are left behind, how do they cope with the loss of somebody, because that is something that they'll always question for the rest of their lives. Like I said, I'll always question what I could have done for David or what more I could have seen out of David when I was 13 years old, losing one of my best friends, and then of course losing my cousin last year.
Yeah, one of the things in the book we talk about managing survivor's guilt. So what you just described is
Hmm.
survivor's guilt. When we survive something, we begin to think, well, what could I have done? What should I have done? What is it that I didn't see? So one of the tips is first of all, know that it was not your fault. Period. So many times, for example, we can see something in someone, we try to encourage them, we may even drag them to wherever they need to be to get services. But sometimes that's not enough. And it's not your fault. So remember, we all have choices, right? And some people, the pain is
Mm-hmm.
so much that all they can see and feel is the pain. They don't see how it affects the community, their loved ones. And so that's how we need to manage how we feel after we feel like we missed something. The other thing too is one of the ways to try to prevent missing something, if you see there's a problem, take action. So sometimes that
Yeah.
is convincing the person to get mental health services, driving them to the
Mm-hmm.
hospital if you don't want to call the police, because we know sometimes how that can turn out. But now there's also local
Mm-hmm.
numbers that you can call for assistance. Yes, that person will be mad at you. They will. However, it's
Yeah.
best to do as much as you can, and you can never say, I didn't do anything.
Right, and if you're feeling that way yourself, there is help out there, and we need to stress that there is someone that you can talk to, counselor. There's a suicide prevention hotline. 800-273-8255 is that number. 800-273-8255. So if you're feeling this way, please, like you said, the last four digits, talk to somebody about that, or you can find out more on the suicide prevention lifeline.org on their website there. All right, Doc, thanks so much, Joanne Frederick, for joining us here on Start Your Day. Very important information, and if somebody needs help, they need to go out there and get it. Once again, appreciate you in your time this morning. Thank you.